Today we're going to talk about the very first lesson you give to your snare drum students in class. And we're going to discuss 3 points: the setup, the grip, and the stroke. And I'm also going to show you a technique that I find really effective in developing a very smooth, relaxed stroke. So first we'll talk about the setup. The snare drum should be around waist height. I teach matched grip. You probably do too. So you want the snare drum to be flat. Now as far as holding the stick, the student should hold the stick 1/3 of the way from the back, between the thumb and the index finger. This is the fulcrum. That's where the stick's going to rotate. The thumb should be at the side of the stick, the index finger curled under. The 3rd finger is also curled underneath with support, and the 4th finger alongside. The 5th finger doesn't really have to be on the stick at all. What you want the 3rd and 4th finger to do is gently push the stick toward the thumb, so that when the arm is in playing position, the tip of the stick should more or less make a straight line through the wrist and up to the elbow. Now you want your students to play with a really relaxed stroke, and it's hard for them to understand what that feels like. So here's where we have to get hands-on. You want the students to stand at the drum and raise the stick from their elbow, leave a bit of a curve down from the elbow, and you want them to feel this weight at the front of the stick. Then you're going to put your 2 fingers, or the stick, I'll use the stick here, under their wrist, and kind of jiggle it a little and keep telling them to relax. And as you talk to them, you might feel more weight on your stick. Maybe you give them a little push here. Maybe you feel that it's not really heavy yet, so you just want to push here and make sure they understand that this is where they might have some tension, and often they do. Often there's a lot of tension in the shoulder, and they're pulling up, and they relax it finally, and you feel this big drop. And once you've found that there's a lot of weight on your stick, and that their hand and arm looks really relaxed, you tell them you're going to remove your stick, but they have to keep that same position, holding it in place from the elbow. But they must not let any tension creep into their arm. Then we're going to give them a couple of exercises to work on. So you want them to stand at the drum. The hand position should be, well, the stick should be in a V shape. Right? The hand should be flat, thumb at the side. Doesn't have to be totally flat, it can be a little angled out, but we want it generally flat enough so that the stick is going straight up and down rather than this angled stroke. Now we're going to ask them to practice 3 different strokes at 3 different levels. First one is at about 12 inches above the drum, second one about 6, third one about 2. So it'll look like this. They'll get in position, 12 inches, drop the stick and bring it back to 12 inches. Just like that. It doesn't have to be fast. They just have to be focusing on everything you've told them before. Do the same thing at 6, a quieter stroke, and 2, the quietest stroke. In the meantime, they're constantly thinking about the tension in their arm, or hopefully the lack of tension in their arm, and thinking about this weight, pulling their arm down at the end of the stick. Now they can easily play those beginning exercises in the method book. There may be a quarter note at the beginning of the bar, and all they have to do is drop the stick onto the drum, and they've got it. It's not like playing a trumpet note or a flute note. It's super easy. But by having given them these guidelines, you're also giving them something to focus on when the music is really quite simple. And by doing so, they are developing right from the beginning a supple, relaxed, and solid technique which they'll be able to use for a lifetime. If this video has been helpful, please click the like button. And if you're interested in a more in-depth discussion on percussion and pedagogy, please click the link below to check out my Band Teacher's Percussion Guide, Insights into Playing and Teaching Percussion from Oxford University Press.